Guys, welcome to the Vitamin B Show, where we interview people who have made millions of dollars or been able to build a social media following of millions of people in their tribe, people that have done it, that have walked and paved the road before us to teach you how to build success in your business and your life as well. Today, we have a very special guest, a dear friend of mine, Jason Scott, and he is a total rock star. You guys, he is super successful. He has single-handedly, this is himself. He now has a team of people. That number is bigger, but single-handedly, he has sold over $2 billion in real estate. Imagine selling $2 billion of whatever you sell, and he has single-handedly sold over 5,500 homes. He is consistently one of the top 10 realtors in Canada by sheer volume for the past 20 years. He's one of the most successful realtors in all of North America, and he personally owns over $35 million in real estate. I always see his lives, and he's got like this house in the background that he owns, and this building, and he just is such a, he's just amazing at what he does. He also invests in several other different avenues. He invests a lot in cryptocurrencies. And today we are going to be decoding his roadmap for success, so you too can create the success and financial wealth that you deserve, you guys. Because we were all put here on this earth to do big things. We were not put here to live a life of mediocrity. I'm sorry. Whatever you believe in, do not put us on this earth, the universe, whatever that is, to play small. So today we are going to be decoding what Jason has done to build success so you can as well. Welcome, Jason. I'd love to just dive right into it and just ask you, if you could go back and tell yourself, your 20-year-old self, some words of wisdom, some piece of advice to build your millions faster, what would that be?
Well, thank you for that intro. That was amazing. I probably don't have the answer that you want to hear, but if I went back to my 20-year-old self, I don't know if I'd do much differently. I would probably have started investing sooner, for sure. I invest a lot in dividend-paying stocks, and I started investing in real estate early. I would have put more money in real estate early. I've been consistently investing over time, but I think my biggest one would have been getting into the market sooner in terms of, the stock market, to be honest.
I love that, and I've got to agree with you. I think that, real estate and the stock market are two better avenues to understand to build wealth. And what can you tell us about, first of all, the real estate market and then the stock market, of what people should be looking at? Where do you think the world is going in the next 5 years? What do you think people should be paying attention to?
Obviously, tech sector, I think, is huge. Crypto is huge. Crypto is going to be a game changer. The thing with crypto at the moment is most people outside think that they've missed the boat on crypto, and it really is just at its infancy. They hear the stories about people, becoming multimillionaires on Dogecoin, or buying Bitcoin back in, 2014, 15, 16, and 10, 100xing their money. And they just think it's not possible anymore. But it is growing so exponentially fast right now. There's so much opportunity in that space. I've been investing in real estate for so long. And to me, it's a slower, more patient game. Fortunately, I'm at the end of a lot of the mortgages on these properties, so it gets to the point where you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I mean, it's a balance as well. I mean, you can't, and I wouldn't advise, everyone putting all their money in one place. It's about having a bit of diversity, but again, not being too diverse. If you look at, the markets that I'm in and the investments that I'm in, they're different areas, but they're very specific in those areas.
I love that. And what do you think is the fastest way to grow wealth in 2022? What do you think the people should be in, like, spending their time learning about? Like, if you could tell people, learn about this, whether it be a person or a vehicle, what would that be?
This is one of the things too, is everybody wants something too fast. And we overestimate what we can do in a year, but we underestimate what we can do in 5. And part of it's having the discipline and consistency. Most people, we were talking about this earlier, Brittany, most people, when you look at, let's use 80-20, 80% of the people just quit too soon, right? And I think the biggest thing, and it's been huge for me, and I think anyone that you would interview or talk to would probably agree in some respects, is the ability to sell. And I was blessed early on at the age of 17, getting into sales and doing direct sales. So, I mean, I was, back when there was phone books, you'd open the phone book and you started going through, and you just, I didn't even know how to get referral and repeat business back then. I didn't even know what it was, but I hammered every client in a nice way, but to find out anyone they knew that wanted the same product, et cetera, et cetera. So I was blessed early on at 17 with the ability to learn in that environment. And I think anyone that hasn't been in a sales environment really needs to immerse themselves. And I don't care if that's, if right now you're working a salary job Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, well, that just simply pays bills. That's all that's designed to do. And if you really want to get ahead, you need an evening and weekend job in sales. And this economy is so desperately searching for people that are willing and wanting to do that. And that's your step up. That's your step out of where you're at, is being able to learn and grow in that area.
I love that, because, everything is about enrollment. If you want your kids to eat broccoli, you got to enroll them why they should eat broccoli. If you want to sell a house, you got to enroll them into that house. If you want to do anything in life, you have to enroll people in that. And that's what sales is. Sales is enrolling people into buying your product, service, or solution. And so I'm a big believer in really understanding that enrollment process and focusing on sales. So how can people get better at sales? And the reason why this is really important for entrepreneurship, I believe that that's one of the most important skill sets for entrepreneurship. Because if you are even trying to get people to join your company, guess what? You are selling vision. You are selling you. You are selling the dream that you are building into a reality. So why should people come to your company? Why should people buy your product, service, or solution? And all of that requires the skill set of being great, powerful, and impactful along the sales journey. And so how do people become good at sales? What are some things that they can work on? What are some mistakes that people make? Tell us how you've been able to, sell over $2 billion of real estate, and what that secrets, and what your secrets, or what that secret is.
I think in the beginning, no one told me that I could fail. I didn't ever have that in my head. I didn't know that that was possible, right? And too many people, as life goes on, they're worried about failure. They're worried about saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. I learned by actually full immersion. I remember my sales trainer back when I was in university. I remember going in and I didn't even have any training, and he just gave me 5 leads and he said, go to them. And I learned through immersion and just trial and error. And, that is probably the hardest way, but it probably gave me the most confidence, and probably was one of the best ways to actually learn. I know Tony Robbins says it all the time. It's through total immersion. And that's what I was. I was, 10, 12 hours a day, totally immersed in sales. And I had no backup plan. That was what I needed to do. now, I mean, God, I've been in sales since I was 17, so I won't do the math for you guys, but it's like 28 years roughly that I've been selling, 25th year in real estate now this year. But I mean, I still do a lot of role playing after this long. I mean, I role play 3 times a week with other realtors. I watch a ton of YouTube and take notes and implement and try different things all the time. So learn through immersion and then constant learning over and over and over, and never thinking you're the best, always knowing, hey, I can get better. You know, if I'm not getting better constantly, someone else is right behind me and they're going to surpass me. So you keep having to push yourself all the time. But anyone that hasn't been in sales or is dabbling in sales, they need complete frigging immersion to really get good at it.
I love that. And I have to echo that. I think what you just said is going to sum up what the characteristics are for the most successful people in the world. Complete immersion and being a lifelong learner. 2 of the most important qualities for success. And I want to ask, how does somebody do that? I totally agree with you. Like, I look at all the different areas where I've been the most successful in my life, whether it be fitness, whether it be business, whether it be happiness, mindset, a goal that I had. The times that I succeeded the fastest and the most was complete immersion and becoming the best by learning every single thing, like just be obsessed or be average about that specific field. So how can people do that? Why is it important? And what would you say to somebody that's doubting, being completely immersed in the area that they want to succeed in?
If you doubt being completely immersed, go back to a time in your life and think, maybe you're learning to swim one summer and you're at the cabin on the lake, or you're getting swimming lessons. I learned how to swim by going and visiting the neighbors who had foster children, and I lived in the country. I had no one to play with. So I would go up there and they would try drown me every single day. Not like in a playful way. They literally would try to drown me every single day. I learned how to swim really, really good, really, really fast. And I went through, in Canada here, we've got all our Canadian Red Cross colors. I was done them all by the time I was 7, right? It's just, there's got to be an area in your life when you can look back and look at complete immersion and go, hey, what if I applied that to another area of my life? Because it will not let you down. And you just have to trust the process. Again, I was talking earlier about the 80% of the people just quit too soon. And there's so many people out there. It's so frustrating because I see it all the time where people, they quit too soon. And one of the things that you look at complete immersion, for example, if we're touching on that. If you're a salaried employee, you work 40 hours a week. And by the way, I don't think 40 hours a week is immersion, but it's as close as a lot of people get to it. They work 40 hours a week for someone else. They're immersed in their employer's ecosystem. They serve their employer, right? So what if they took that and they served themselves? What if they took that 40 hours? Because if you're working 40 hours a week, you can find another 40 hours in that week. If you're really committed to really serve yourself. So a lot of people just have to sit back and really trust the process. And I hope that people listening can relate to the fact that, hey, there's something in their life. It might have been when they were a kid, could have been at any time. It could have been, a subject they took in high school. It could have been a hobby, could have been anything, but complete immersion got them to the next level. And a lot of us, as we get older, we forget about that. And people don't remind us. And it's a constant thing.
Yep, exactly. And one of the things that you said was, people quit too soon. Why do you think people quit so soon? And then how do people, and then what skill sets do they need to not quit, to keep going, or to get back up?
The biggest problem I see is people equate their time with money. So if I go to work, let's even call it McDonald's, and I'm making $15 an hour, I know if I put my hour in, I get $15 back. But when you're an entrepreneur, when you're self-employed, you can put an hour in and get nothing back. You can put 80 hours in a week and get nothing back. And sometimes you can do that for a month and get nothing back. And people get discouraged because they see people around them that have this higher level of success and they want it too quick. And the only thing that happens fast is the lottery. Everything else is built, everything else is hard work. And it's a whole building process. So if you're not busting your ass for years and years, you're not going to get there. Brittany, how many years have you been busting your ass to get the followings you have on Instagram, for example, and the success you've had? And you're, I wouldn't say only starting, but just building the momentum now. And how many people have quit too soon with, they get 3, 4, 5,000 Instagram followers, and then that plateaus, they just quit. I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, well, and I think it's really that plateau that kills people's souls, because I feel like where you really hear in people's soul and in their voice, the successful people that we all look up to, they have one thing. There's one comment. I've been studying millionaires and billionaires for a long time, and there's one thing that they all have in common. It doesn't matter anything else, but it is this, and that is momentum. When they have the momentum and the passion and the accountability is really that important clencher of what they need to master and adopt. But when they have that accountability to show up, to push themselves, to level up, to be successful, that is what is creating the momentum that's needed for their dream life. And like you said, it's that plateau, that decline that really hurts people. And so how do people stay on top of it? How do people stay accountable? How do people stay passionate so they can go out there and crush it and continue to crush it? Because it is a lifelong journey. You can't just show up and be like, oh, I want to be successful. I worked at it for 6 months, a year, 2 years. You talk to the most successful people in the world, the Elon Musk, the Bill Gates, the Ray Dalios. They have been doing this. I was watching Tanya Harding, the I, Tanya, and they were talking about I think her name's Nancy Grace. They were skating. Well, what Tanya Harding did was not good, like smashing her competitors' knees. But my point is that in the show, in the movie, they showed her at 4 years old wanting to skate. Okay. And I'm not talking about her moral and ethic. I'm talking about her specific skating career. She started at 4 years old. Her mom showed up to the rink and the teacher was like, no, I don't take kids that young. And the mom was like, no, Tanya, go skate. And that's when she started. And then she was building it up every single moment. And that level of dedication and passion in order to not plateau, in order to keep striving, in order to build massive success. So how does somebody do that?
Momentum, what you said is key. And what I find is, momentum is so hard to build and so easy to lose. It can take months and months to build up, and you can lose it in a couple of days. Accountability, again, is huge. I finally, after, I think it was about my first 5 or 6 years in real estate, I finally developed systems where I knew if I followed that system, it would reward me. And I knew I'd get the results I was looking for as soon as I plugged into that. So that helped me with accountability and it helped me with momentum as well, because I could leave real estate for 2 or 3 weeks, leave the country, whatever it was, come back, plug in the system and go again. So it was just like an electronic device plugging in the wall, which was really cool. But you are going to have, and any successful person, and this is the part that most people don't see, we are plagued with self-doubt. We are plagued with, just this, like you were talking about, plateaus where you get to a certain level and you're like, okay, well, how do I get to the next level? It's been like that for like 6 months and I haven't grown, right? Like I've added to the bank account and I've done, bits here and there, but I haven't actually, I haven't progressed. So one of the things to know is that success is not linear. Success will go at different rates and plateaus and steps, and you might even take some step backwards during that process. So being aware of that and knowing that, hey, other people are going through that, other successful people are going through that, because I talk to realtors all the time and I'm like, hey guys, like I have self-doubt. It's just something that's there that I have to combat on a, maybe not a daily basis, but weekly, monthly. And how do I get over that? A lot of, I spend a lot of time reading. I spend a lot of time journaling, a lot of gratitude, a lot of faith. And, I set my days up like that. I mean, I get up at 5 a.m. and I spend my first hour getting my head straight and really getting myself in the game before I actually start. So that has been super helpful. And I've been doing that for, over 20 years now. So I don't care which successful person you talk about, they've all got some variation of ritual that they follow on a daily basis.
I love that so much, because I totally agree. One of the things that I do is I used to write my goals every single morning, sometimes afternoon and night, until I've gotten in the habit where I just think about it all the time. So I feel like you can live your life going through the motions and, doing the things you gotta do and just filling the time, or you can live your life in strategic action. You can live your life in strategic ways of moving and thinking and building when you are so focused and you have on the forefront of your mind your goals. And so one of my daily practices is to really crystallize and I get goosebumps when I say this, but crystallize the energy in my body to understand where I'm going and what I'm working on. And when I deal with that level of mastery and that level of accountability and that level of check, because you think, when people are talking about, Michael Jordan's coaching him to success, having your own personal accountability, your own like veil of accountability through understanding your goals to the core and showing up to the person that you need to become to get those goals, that is life-changing. That is game-changing. And so I totally agree with that daily habit, that daily ritual, because here's the thing, it's so easy to fall off the bandwagon. It's so easy to never get on the bandwagon in the first place. And so when you hold yourself accountable every single day to living your greatest potential in a powerful way to do that, that changes the game. And so I'd love to ask you, what do you do to cultivate that mindset? What do you do as your daily practice? What are your non-negotiables?
Well, I'm actually right now in my basement of my house, and one of the rooms in here is kind of my workout room. I do my reading in the morning. And so I actually have a whiteboard on my wall, and it's divided Monday to Sunday. And down the side, it's got smile/water. So first thing I do when I wake up is I smile, I hydrate, I stretch, I do my breathing exercises. I get on my rebounder. Rebounders are super important, but if you're buying one, get a Bellicon. I don't get anything for that, but they're the best by far. And literally, I'm on my rebounder doing my incantations. And then I do my workout, do my empowering questions, and my driving force, and my massive action plan. So that is what I do between 5 and 6 in the morning. I literally have a checklist, so I can't miss it. It's so ingrained in me that I wake up instantly at 5 o'clock. There's no snooze button. There's no nothing. It's just 5 o'clock. I sit straight up. I'm gone. I'm downstairs, within 1 or 2 minutes. And I'm going through that whole process every single day. And it puts you in a different zone. And I mean, if anyone saw me jumping on a rebounder, doing my incantations, they would think you're absolutely nuts. But successful people behind closed doors, and sometimes out in the open, they do weird things that unsuccessful people aren't prepared to do, or they think they're too self-conscious. Like, oh my God, I can't do that. I'm not that type of person. But you just got to let go, and you got to embrace what serves you.
I love that. And what would you say to somebody that they should be doing every single day to build success? Like, what if you could, get the world to do one daily thing, or if you could get a group of people that you wanted to see succeed, do one daily thing every single day to get them to start building that financial success in their life, what would it be?
Read for 30 minutes every single day. I learned long ago.
I gotta second that.
The statistic, I can't remember the exact number, but it's over 90% of people after high school never pick up a non-fictional book. Over 90%. It just blows my mind that it's that high. I mean, you've got to devour books. I think that's hugely important. And I remember being on sales calls when I was 18 years old, and I had a Zig Ziglar, The Secrets of Closing the Sales hardcover book. And between my appointments, I would park my car on the side of the road, and I would read chapters out of that book. And it was the only sales book I had at 18, so I didn't know anymore. But I read that book over and over and over and over again. But yeah, 30 minutes a day, if you're not reading something non-fictional, some biography, something educational, something inspiring, something motivational. I mean, God, there's just so many out there, but it's probably the most important thing.
Okay, I got to disagree with you. And here's the reason why. I would say, I'm just kidding, I agree with you, but I'm just being a little facetious. I would say learn 30 minutes a day, because I used to love reading. I have an in-person book collection of thousands of dollars. I have my audio book collection on Audibles, over $15,000 worth of books. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. And one of the things that I love is YouTube, okay? I am spending every single night on YouTube learning about cryptocurrencies, the stock market, learning from Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio. I've been obsessed with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, and just and different industries, and studying NFTs and studying different industries and studying different people. And I literally just go on YouTube, and here's the reason why I love YouTube, and here's why every single human being should adopt this daily practice of learning on YouTube half an hour to an hour and a half a day, is because you enter in one word or one sentence of what you are passionate about, and YouTube is already going to do the hard work for you. It's already going to screen out bad material or boring interviews or boring stuff. It's only going to show you the most popular stuff that has thousands or hundreds of thousands or usually millions of views. It's taking out the guesswork. You just have to pick a title or a sentence, put it into YouTube, and it's going to spit out the best concepts. What are your thoughts?
100%. And when I say reading, I never read without my journal by my side. So when I'm reading, I'm not just reading, I'm grabbing the best stuff that resonates with me that I can later apply. And when you're talking about learning, this is the one thing too many people do. And I see this all the time. They're all about learning, and they're scared to fail, so they don't execute. For example, Let's talk about, 2020, I got big into dividend paying stock. And in my first month in, I'd lost $250,000. So it's kind of gut wrenching because it doesn't really matter how much you've got. If you lose $250,000, you're like, damn, I could have bought another Lamborghini. I could have done, so many other things. I equate things to cars, but it just sucks to lose money. No one wants to lose money, but that's turned around. And since then has made an awful lot of money for me. Crypto, same thing. You can't time your entry and you're going to lose money and you're going to fail along the way, but you have to get in the game. So like NFTs, if you're learning NFTs, the quickest way to learn NFTs, buy some, right? Once you buy some, you're like, oh, okay, now I know how to buy them. Now I know the marketplace for them. And now I'm going to get more strategic about hunting them out and which ones are going to pay me the most and what I'm going to get more money at and how to create them. But you really need to get in the game. And too many people sit on the sidelines and learn and learn and learn. And sometimes they learn too much. And when we were talking about immersion earlier, you have to execute at the same time. You have to take action. And once you do, you're going to find it's fun. So that's a big takeaway for me and I've got way better at that, is jumping and figuring out how I'm going to land on the way down.
Yes. I totally agree with you. It's about learning different fields and getting in the game. Because here's the thing that I regret is, I started off young. I have a degree in finance, but I wasn't researching different investment opportunities. So now that I love studying, the S&P 500 and cryptocurrencies and Ethereum and Bitcoin and the blockchain and different, companies and some of the wealthiest investors in the world, I am genuinely passionate about that. And then what I'm doing is I've never wasted my money. I don't own anything designer. I like to invest all of my money. My dad was super frugal. He raised me, you invest every single penny. So I'm always investing in myself or my education. I invest a lot in courses and books and coaches and mentors. But the one thing I regret is not learning sooner. Because here's the thing, and this is one of the biggest mistakes that I think people make, is they invest money without learning about, if you want to invest in the stock market, without learning how to evaluate stocks, without learning where to figure out what stocks to buy, without learning what makes a stock a good investment. They lose money and then they have this cash building up, and then they're like, what am I going to spend it on? So they invested in or they spend it on other stuff. Whereas if you genuinely take an interest in learning how to invest, you are going to want to back that up with your hard-earned cash. And you're going to see a ripple effect over time where you are going to start, learning, why do I invest in Bitcoin? Because I learned about it first. I started learning about Ethereum. And then what's the first thing I wanted to do? Invest my own money. And this is one thing that I wish I would have known a lot sooner, is learn about it, research it on YouTube. Get excited about it. And naturally, you are going to want to put your cash flow into these investments because you're going to be like, you're going to start believing in them. When you hear Warren Buffett tell you over and over, invest in the S&P 500, historically, over the last 70 years of comparing the S&P 500 to hedge funds, the S&P 500 is outperforming. When you hear little things like that, just because you're spending time learning about it, guess what? You are going to start putting your money, you're going to start getting excited to put your money into this possibility. And so that's something that I am super passionate about. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, you've got to get skin in the game, 100%. One thing I've also learned over time is I've stopped letting money managers and so-called experts guide me. And I've used my own instinct, knowledge, and just understanding guide me. And honestly, I would say anyone that is, and I apologize if you're an investment advisor listening to this, but there's might be some great ones out there. I've just never met them. Is really taking ownership of it yourself and you actually doing it. Because when you do that, all of a sudden, if you've got, even if it's $10,000 in the market or in crypto or wherever else it may be, you can buy a Bitcoin ETF and put 10,000 in and just walk away. Or you can buy different altcoins and some NFTs and some passive income generating mechanisms within crypto, and all of a sudden you're hooked. All of a sudden you're checking that like every day, and you're researching to see where might be better and what other options there is and different things. So you really have to go and do that. I see the same in real estate, where people will go in and partner with others or get involved in a real estate investment trust or whatever it might be. But if you actually buy that rental property yourself with your own money, and you got your own tenants in there and you're dealing with it on a daily basis, because to start with, that's the way you're going to start in real estate, you gain so much more. So I find, make sure you've got your own skin in the game and you're not relying on investment advisors, and you're doing it on your own. You're going to learn so much faster because you just simply have to at that point.
100%. I totally agree with you. And that's really where, I rely on myself for my investments now, because I used to rely on other people. And honestly, those people were biased. I've actually lost more money by relying on other people's advice than me doing my own unbiased search. And so I got to second that. And I love that you said that. And so I'd like to just ask you, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? What are some important things that you think we missed on how to build wealth and become successful?
Probably, and I love Will Smith when he says, "You will not outwork me." That is his mentality. Like, he believes that. And because he believes that, look at the level he's at, right? So it's also incredible discipline. And it's kind of fun. I've developed an incredible discipline over years and years. It doesn't come immediately, but you can force yourself to do things. And what I find is the stuff that is the most uncomfortable and the stuff that you really don't want to do is the stuff you should be doing. Your mind must control your feelings. You don't let your feelings control your mind. You know what you need to do. It's not what you feel like you should do, right? So, you really have to develop that discipline. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure where it comes from. I don't know if it came from, when I was growing up, if my parents might have instilled that in me, or if, I instilled that in me over time. But that is what has really served me, is, just unending discipline towards everything that I do, and doing everything I can to the best of my ability. And that goes from getting out of bed in the morning and making your bed. How do you make your bed? And some people might think you're anal, but I'm anal in every single thing I do in life. If I'm doing something, I want to do it to the absolute best of my ability, and then maybe even push that a little bit farther. So that's probably my biggest take on that.
Yes. How you do anything is how you do everything. When you start crafting your skill set to live up to a standard of excellence and a standard of success, you are then going to be able to be put in any situation, become the best, become the leader, become the person that people look up to. And you deserve that. You deserve to live an amazing life. You deserve all of the success that is possible for you in this life. And that really is rooted in becoming a human being that doesn't settle for anything less than excellence. And that is what it's about. That's what it's about. Because, Jason, you're a living proof. You're living proof of that. You know, no matter what you did, you would be successful because you have the skill set, the mindset, the accountability, the perseverance, the resiliency. One thing we talked about a lot today was failing and you know, getting back up essentially. You know, you talked about people quitting and people failing, and that's where it stops, and people giving up. But when you cultivate that human experience of being a total warrior and badass in business and not taking no for an answer and confidently going out there and getting your goals and dreams, guess what? That's how you change the world. That's how you build success in your business. And that is how you get to look at yourself every single day in the mirror and be proud of the person that's staring back at you. So thank you so much for being here, Jason. We love you. The Vitamin B podcast fam loves you. We appreciate you, appreciate your time. What if anyone's looking for real estate in the Grand Prairie area, hit up Jason and his team. He is the leading expert in his field, especially in Grand Prairie. He is the best. You will not find a better team of realtors. And is there anything else that you can share with the world? Any other gifts or anything else that you are putting out into the world that our fam could get involved with?
I just so strongly want to tell people listening, don't doubt yourself, not for a second, because just if you're thinking about it, just take action. If you're listening to this, you're already thinking about success. You're thinking about another level. You're plateaued and you're thinking, what can I do more? Just keep going and don't doubt yourself. If you catch yourself doing it, know that I'm doing it. Know that tens of thousands of other very, very successful people out there are going through that same struggle, but the difference is they keep going. So that's just the best advice I can give someone, is just keep going and keep going and keep going. Make sure you're going strategically though. That's all I can say. Keep on top of tech. Tech is going to be the next, it's the next evolution. So there's so many people out there that are going to be able to make so much money without having as much money to start. You know, when I'm investing in dividend paying stock and when I'm investing in real estate, I mean, I've got millions and millions and millions invested in there to get the return. And I see so much potential with cryptocurrencies moving forward. So I really encourage people, maybe you've got 5,000, maybe you got 10,000. That's something you should really be looking at, because, you know, 2 to 10 to 100x gains are possible, but you've got to be diligent. So do your research, make sure you get skin in the game, make sure you execute. Brittany, it's been awesome. I appreciate you having me on here. And I hope I can impact 1 or 2 people that listen.
I love this. This was amazing. Thank you so much. Where can people find you on Instagram?
Jason Scott _real estate on Instagram, Jason Scott Real Estate on Facebook, website, jasonscott.net. And yeah, I mean, if anyone's got any questions, I love talking about this stuff. So send me a message and I definitely will get back to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Make sure you check out all of our episodes. We have interviewed people like Trent Shelton, Elena Cardone, Preston Smiles, John Lee Dumas, and so many other people that are making a massive impact in this world. So make sure you guys go check out other episodes from people that are out there creating the results that so many people aspire to create in their life. So I love you guys. If you guys are new, make sure you guys add me on Instagram at Brittany Michalchuk, BrittanyMichalchuk. Tag us in your stories. I will reshare everyone that tags this in their story. I love you guys, and we will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.